Hello, I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. In today's natural gas weekly recap, natural gas prices are down. Let's take a look at the spot continuation chart. Natural gas prices are currently trading 404, down 21.8 cents or over 5%. As you can see here from tradingview.com, we've put up the adaptive trend flow indicator showing that while prices are down today, they've been in an uptrend since September of last year. Let's take a look at the spot February contract. As you can see here, prices right now trading 403.70 down 221 or 5.19%. As you can see with the pivots, we have moved down through the daily pivot at 407 and a half and are looking to see our next support at 389.10 and then our secondary support at 376 and a half. Prices have rejected moving higher as we continue to trade for February and not January cash prices. And taking a look at the Midland, Texas area, as you can see, it's warm, about 68 degrees, and the wind is blowing at 34 miles an hour. Looking forward to next week, temperatures are going to decline here as we continue to move into the weekend and into next week, with Tuesday being the lowest temperatures, a high of only 33 degrees, a low of 21. But there is relatively little precipitation, so we would not see so much in the way of freeze-offs and also icing on the wind turbines. Let's take a look at the March contract. The March contract here on an hourly basis, as you can see, they've rejected moving higher. This is a little tidbit to using pivot points. Take 50% of the range between the two pivots, and if prices cannot get through, like they did this morning, then you can see that prices will be looking to move toward the lower pivot and then possibly the next pivot below. So again, pivots are nice, but use 50% as an indication of momentum. Let's take a look at the ERCOT grid. This is covering most of Texas. As you can see with the wind blowing, there is some congestion out west near the Permian region. Wind is now almost 42% of the power stack at over 23,000 megawatts. And here looking at energy storage resources or batteries. The batteries were charging up between midnight and 4 a.m. and now discharging this morning between about 6 and 8 o'clock as people woke up and got ready for their morning commute. Looking at the wind and solar here, as you can see, this is unusual that wind and solar will peak out for the day exactly at the same time. As a result, system-wide power prices are going to approach zero this afternoon. Let's take a look at the weather. This is the global train, the continued snow piercer of Arctic air that continues to pool around eastern Siberia, moving across the globe into Canada and down into the United States. As you can see, as we get into the weekend and into Monday, much of the country is going to be very, very cold with that cold Arctic air pushing over into the mid-Atlantic states and to New England. We continue to see shots of cool air, Arctic weather moving down into the United States over the next 2 weeks. Let's turn and take a look at the United States in particular. As you can see, this cold air descends here tomorrow, Saturday, into the upper Midwest, and just drops all the way down into Texas on Monday and potentially Tuesday, with the Arctic air shifting slightly east over into the Great Lakes and New England, as well as the mid-Atlantic states. The next Arctic blast seems to be about a week later, again, early in the week, around Monday, Tuesday, into Wednesday, Thursday, and that puts us toward the end of the month. But that does not mean that February is going to be cold for the duration of the month, and that is why people are trading it down. Let's take a look at the ice. The ice is continue to close off the northern approaches to Hudson Bay, and James Bay is completely full of ice. The eastern shores now are icing up, so that body of water will soon be completely covered in ice allowing cold Arctic air to skate across the body of water and descend directly into the mid-Atlantic states. Adding to that is the snow cover. We've got great snow cover across Kansas, all the way through the Ohio Valley and up into New England. The Great Lakes. The Great Lakes at the shallower levels are icing up. There is a small amount of open sea, not sea ice, but lake water that is not ice. But the approaches along the shores are icing up, and there is about 1/10 of ice across much of the body of water. This will continue to allow cool air to descend into the United States. Taking a look at Europe. Europe is fairly normal for this time of year, with colder temperatures really confined to the Alps, Scandinavia, and parts of Turkey. Now, we do see potential shift as we get into next week, with that cold air descending further into Russia and potentially dropping into portions of Eastern Europe and Ukraine around the 26th and 27th. We'll look to keep a careful eye on this to see if this is a shift and whether or not this cold Arctic air that's been descending into the United States suddenly pivots towards Europe. Let's take a look at Asia. Well, in China, it continues to be much of the same, with near normal temperatures and very little below normal temperatures along the eastern provinces until we get further out into the forecast. And so far, this looks to be maybe about the 26th or 27th before we start seeing cooler temperatures in that area and parts of Japan. Let's take a look at the stocks for the week. This is the E&P sector. As you can see, it's been a great week for this E&P sector, with the exception of Canadian stocks. Canadian Natural Resources down 6% on the week. Taking a look at the midstream companies, much of the same. Who's down? TC Energy Corporation. Why? Here comes the Trump train and tariffs. So, recapping again for our February spot contract, prices are trading at 402 and a half, down 23.2 cents or 5.45%. Thanks for listening. Please hit the like and subscribe button below. We'll see you soon.